I built me a road. Hi, welcome to Grateful Hearts Ranch. It's been a while. Figured I'd do an update. Now, for a long time, there really wasn't a lot going on, and then some things have happened recently that just worth mentioning. Okay, so I didn't actually build the road. I mean, I sponsored the project. It was my roughly 9 ounces of gold or 3/4 of a Bitcoin, really just kind of whatever your medium of exchange is. But they brought in heavy equipment. They leveled everything out, basically gave us a straight shot from the gate all the way back, and it's probably about 1,000 feet ish. And so it's a straight shot back instead of having to go in and go around that tree and then come around this way and then go around. It's much better. It also holds up in the rain, but we didn't go far enough to actually get all the way to where we need to go, and I'll hold that for a little bit because we'll get back to that. I picked up a brand new 16-foot trailer so that I can haul, cattle panels or whatever, that I need. I haven't hauled anything yet other than the trailer, but that'll come. Now, throughout the summer, when it was in excess of 100 degrees outside, we didn't make a lot of progress on things. But we did go out and enjoy the property, and took the doggos out there. And of course, they loved it for about 45 seconds, maybe. They got out and ran around, went to the bathroom, and then we have inside dogs. So, so the puppy does like being outside, and so he had no problem with being out in the heat. The other two, though, they're older, and they don't really like being outside in 100-degree heat, and so they wanted to get back into the truck where the air conditioner was. So a couple of times we went out there, and they stayed in the running truck. The neighbor kids came by one afternoon while we were out there, and they were pretty curious because they had never seen a dog before, and of course, our dogs had not seen cows, so that was an interesting interaction. It actually went a lot better than I thought. There was some barking initially by the dogs, and then they just kind of stared at each other. Now, on one occasion when we did not have the dogs out there, Kathy and I borrowed a couple of four-wheelers from the neighbor, and we explored the property a little bit more. We did capture a wild animal on video. Now, another time when we were out there, it was just Kathy and me, and I was working on something. I don't know what it was, but I had left the gate to the fenced-in area open, and so it's a cattle panel wide, but I had the truck in there, kind of in the way. So there was, I don't know how, a couple of feet maybe width opening. Well, so Brownie decided to come in, and because we had lush grass at the time, and wanted to get a meal, so just kind of walked right in. Didn't really care. None of the other cows wanted to come in. And then another time I was walking outside the compound and just had this feeling I was being watched. Turns out it was just Mama making sure I was friend and not foe. At some point, Kathy found a used RV for sale, and so we got that. So it figured we'd stay in that while things were being built, and so I prepared an area for it. We got it, dropped off and in place. The problem was it was now outside the compound, and cows being very curious what they are and or have itches. They want to rub up against things. They want to chew on things, and we really didn't want that for our new to us RV to experience any of that. So I had to build a fence, extend the fence around the RV, and using my previously acquired fence building skills, I was able to do that in an afternoon. And it was, clouds were rolling in. I didn't know if it was going to start, thunderstorms or anything like that. Well, but it held off. I mean, the clouds did roll in, but, I didn't get rained on while I was building the fence, and it was good because I didn't really, want to be playing with metal stuff out in the open when lightning's coming down, that kind of stuff. So anyway, I got that built. I did get 2 blisters on my hand. We did go out there on a Thursday night with the dogs and spent, to spend our first night there. And the next morning we were supposed to have what's called a staking appointment from the power company. So we were going to get a pole brought in so that we could have, power for the RV and not have to worry about making our own power. Well, Thursday night, I don't know that it was a severe thunderstorm, but it was a ton of rain came down, and it had been raining off and on prior to that. So Friday morning, early, for this appointment that we had, got a phone call and said they're out at the front gate. So I went out and in the rain, it's still raining, and got in the truck. Well, the truck was stuck because it had rained so much, and I finally got going and made it out to the front gate, and they said, well, we're not going to be able to do anything today because of the rain and the mud and all that stuff. We're not going to be able to get our equipment back here to do what we need to do, so you'll need to reschedule. And I was like, well, why didn't you tell me that on the phone so I don't have to get out here? So anyway, getting out to the gate was challenging enough because I had to kind of gun it to get through this one area just to make it to the driveway, and I didn't want to get the truck stuck, so I just parked it at the edge of the driveway and walked all the way back. So we ended up spending another night there just because we couldn't bring the truck up to load everything up and then get back out of there again. I went ahead and hooked up a small Honda generator that I had, and in anticipation of possibly needing it. Because it was raining, I built a little hut, a little cover for it out of T-posts, some of the woven wire fence, and a tarp. And that seemed to keep it, dry enough to continue running. So we spent an extra day there. This was all day Friday, so I was working. I was able to still continue to work. So I spent Friday working out there, and then we spent another night there. And then the next day, the sun came out, and we basically loaded up the truck and went home. Now, loading the truck was a little bit interesting because I first walked Kathy out to the truck and got her in the truck, and then came back, and we. So Frankie doesn't walk on a leash just yet, and so that's a little challenging and disturbing for me a little too. But anyway, he's not walking on a leash, and I figured if I just turned him loose, then who knows, we'd be looking for him for several hours because he does like to explore things. And so the two girls, I let them out, and they eventually made it over to the truck. They didn't veer off too far. But Frankie, we had put a leash on him, and he was protesting a little bit, but he finally got him out the gate, and he made it about halfway there till he shut down. So then I had to pick him up and carry him the rest of the way. So I've been, I got a lot to do, and I've been stacking all these little projects up, and haven't really had a whole lot of time to do it. Well, that kind of took a change. So on the 16th of November, I got laid off from my job, and I was like, well, that kind of stinks, but now I got all these projects I can work on. So I've been, very excited to be able to go out there. Well, it's been raining ever since then, and we don't have the driveway finished, so I can't go out there because I get stuck in the mud, and so that's been a little frustrating at this point. But I think we've got some sunshine on the way, so hopefully I can get out there and get some work done. Now, on another note, and I realized that I had not shown the fruits of my labor in the garden, and so I had planted a bunch of seed potatoes and some spinach. Well, the potatoes grew up and killed the spinach, basically, so that was a fail. So the bountiful harvest that we got was pretty spectacular. Now we would probably die if we had to live off of that, but I'm thinking now that okay, so now we have potatoes that have survived one season in our environment. So next year, hopefully, those will be seed potatoes for a more bountiful harvest. Now, I think probably a lot of the reason for the size of them was not watering it enough. This was a little bed that a little experimental bed that I built, and it was very hot this summer. But I think the water just drained out too quickly, and so it just didn't get enough water really. So I'm excited to try that again. Well, so shortly after that, or after I pulled those out, we had some sweet potatoes that I had purchased at the grocery store. So we didn't eat them, quickly enough, and they started growing slips. So I planted 4 sweet potato slips from the grocery store sweet potatoes. We did get a harvest from that. Here's a shot of that. And so we're pretty excited about that. So that's the update. We've made some progress, not as much as we'd like, obviously, but that is what it is. Do have a lot of projects on the list to get done. Do have a weather window that I think will permit me to get some of it done, at least. Hopefully more. We do have apparently some snowmageddon, starting to. It's going to be here in about a week, so we'll see what happens with that. Just kind of taking it as they come. If you have any questions, you can leave those below. Other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell.